think we're live. Yeah, we are live. What up, my nerds? Today's
Hey,
special guest, a very special guest, actually. I'm going to give him a little bit of introduction. I want to embarrass him a bit. He's someone that I've rolled with many times for a few years now. I've never beat him. He always rolls with a smile. He never sweats. Sometimes I don't know if he even breathes. He is my coach and mentor, Coach Carl. How are you, Coach?
hey, how about you? I mean, pretty good actually. How about you? How's everything going?
Oh, not too bad. Got hurt last class on Monday, but I'm doing better now. And
Yeah, I noticed during techniques you were complaining about something going
I was complaining. I
wrong.
was not there. I wasn't even listening. I was doing start from half guard. I wasn't even half guard. I wasn't even listening. I was like, yeah, I was in pain. So here I am. And coach, today I want to take a special time to let people get to know a little bit more about you.
Sure, sounds good.
And besides you kicking everyone's ass and winning medals and all that stuff,
I'm trying.
I try. So, coach, before we talk about Jim Lecal and all that stuff, I wanted to go back in time and ask you what really made you decide to like do this pajama strangling jiu-jitsu crazy man sweat stuff.
Man, you know what? It goes back a long time. I when I was younger, I played baseball, football, and I played team sports forever. And then playing football, I just got injured like all the time, like barely playing games, and then you get hurt in practice, you get hurt every games, and then it was the summer camp after high school. Like you finish high school, the
Mm.
school ended like June 25th or something. One of the first practice, like in early July, basically broke my ankle just during a drill. Didn't even get to play a game. Just straight up broke my ankle during practice. And then like I was about that whole summer, I didn't do anything. I just
Mm.
couldn't walk and couldn't do anything. So after that, I was kind of like done with football just because you need a team to play, you need a team to play against, you need summer weather, which is like 3 months around here. So
Mhm.
I was looking for something I could do like more and just like year round. And the way it got started was basically I was online. I saw a video that I'll remember that video forever because it was titled something like French man gets ass beat, and that was the title of the clip. So I clicked on it, and it was actually GSP against
uh,
his. It was his first fight against Matt Hughes, and
mm.
he lost.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I watched The Ultimate Fighter, like the first season, I think,
Old
something
school,
like
yeah.
that.
Dude,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was like, well, maybe I could try this. And
Hmm.
then I was fully expecting that training and going to a jiu-jitsu school or MMA school because back then I was doing it more like I'm going to do MMA
Yeah.
was going to be exactly like this. And then I actually almost never started because I got there like I used to live pretty far away and there were not that many schools, so I looked them up. I looked them up, and there were two, either in one in Rosemère and one in like downtown Montreal. So I figured
Right.
I'm gonna drive a bit more further out, but no traffic. And I get there and it's closed for Labor Day or something. And honestly, like I was like scared of going because I figured it's gonna be like the Arnold Fighter. I'm gonna get my ass beat, and then I almost never went back. I remember like during that week, I was like, well, never mind. Like it took me everything to get up there, and I almost didn't go back. I did and go back, and then I started doing boxing, Muay Thai, no gi at the time. There wasn't even gi; it was just no gi.
Hmm.
It was just combat submission wrestling. It wasn't even jiu-jitsu,
Combat submission.
and that's where it started, and that was 2008, so
2008.
a long time ago.
And look at you now, Carl. Look
And I
at you now.
just didn't stop. Just didn't
Yeah,
stop.
it's true. I know. When you say he almost stopped, kind of reminds me when I first started too. I think when I did my very first gi, I think at the time it was one of our, like George. Everyone knows George there. So
Yeah,
I told George, I'm gonna faint. I'm gonna freak out. I was like hyperventilating. I was panicking. And he's like, just calm down. And it was the best experience I ever had in my life, even though I got murdered. But yeah, I remember that those first time jitters. So you started around 2008, Carl.
yeah,
And
yeah.
at what time or what belt rank were you when you like decides like, I know what, I'm gonna start my own gym. I foresee my future in owning a gym.
Um, it didn't like it went from a small opportunity to a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go from like, oh, I'm practicing to, oh, I'm going to open a school. So, like, when I got to blue belt, I was asked if I want to teach a class and just
Mm-hmm.
like add another day to the schedule and teach a class. So I was a blue belt, I was teaching. And then, like, I decided to go back to school to learn kinesiology because I
Mm-hmm.
figured when I was a white belt, I decided to go back to school to learn that because I was like, well, I mean, teaching jiu-jitsu is not probably not going to be possible. I'm a white belt. That's not
Mm-hmm.
realistic at that point. So I was like, I'm going to learn something that's related to what I enjoy doing, which is training, sports, and then maybe it helps me out. And then along the way, like I started teaching classes. And when I came back from that program, I was a purple belt. And then I was working at a small studio for like kinesiology. And
Mm-hmm.
then someone that my fathers know was working at a commercial gym. He was manager there. And was like, we're looking to have like a martial arts class in that program
Mm-hmm.
in our big gym. Like wasn't like it was like a kind of fitness, but a small brand. Like they had like
Mm-hmm.
three gyms. So they converted a room, they added mats, and then I started working there as a trainer and teaching classes there. And that's where like this first school started. We had three classes a week, and most of the time I was just like, I'm hoping there's gonna be one person today. I would go there expecting probably 0 to 1 student, and then one time we were like 8 students. So I was like the biggest class ever. There's 8 of us, and that's actually where I met Gus. That's where because he worked there as a trainer too, and he
Mm-hmm.
started doing jiu-jitsu with me there, and then that's why some students have started with me before the locale because I had a small school there, and then from purple belt to brown belt it grew, and then we got the locale, we got that gym, and now it just keep going. So it wasn't like one thing that made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like small opportunities and just going for it, not
Oh,
like being scared.
oh, for sure, 100%. That's amazing. Look at you now. Look at your. The problems you have today is that there's too many people in
Yeah, there
jujitsu.
was too many students.
Too many students. Sometimes, like I look around, we're about to start. We're 20 people, and then like you clap, and like another 20 people just show up. Like what just happened here? So my next
That's
question
the
to you,
purple belts.
yeah,
That's the purple belts.
purple belt, the syndrome there. But my question was to you, like when compared to when you first started, and there was like not really jujitsu, like combat wrestling or
Yeah.
jujitsu, and when you started Le Cal, like compared then to now, like how do you see? Like, have you seen a big progress in like jujitsu, like interest in jujitsu community or jujitsu as a whole? You find?
I mean, it's day and night, and I
Mm-hmm.
still think we're at the beginning. We're
Yeah.
gonna be early. Like you're starting like a few years ago. You're gonna be in the early ones
Mm-hmm.
because uh, kids program back then didn't really exist. There were
Mm-hmm.
basically no jiu-jitsu for kids. So now we're like I've had kids at the gym that have been training for 8 years. They're gonna be 14, 15, 16,
Yeah.
but they're gonna have 10 years of jiu-jitsu. So not only like the interest in general is growing, but also like all around the world and then access to information also. Like
Yes.
you have so many videos online you can learn for free on YouTube. Like not
Mm-hmm.
even we're not even going to talk about the high quality paid platforms that you can have.
Yeah.
Back then it was I remember the first jiu-jitsu thing I bought was a book.
Hmm.
It wasn't even like a video, it was a book called Jiu-Jitsu University
I
by
have it.
Saulo Ribeiro. Yeah, I mean it's fun to look at, but
Well,
imagine
yeah.
that's the only way you're gonna learn techniques from like 4 squares of pictures
Yeah.
and then like a block of text
Yeah.
trying to like get
Visualize.
and that was it. Like that was all the knowledge that we had back then. Or your coach or someone that you know went to a seminar and then they came back and then
Mm.
tried to teach you whatever they had learned. So the growth aspect back then it was so much slower because the information didn't travel as far or wasn't like as right now like you can we're gonna film this and then anyone can listen to it and have the exact words that we said before it was
Exactly.
like word to mouth and then details get lost in the process. So
Mm. Yeah. True.
yeah,
And it's
very different, very different.
yes, and like I said the process, the information has changed as well too. Like and now like things like kids class that you just mentioned. Uh, like as you know, I just did my first tournament whatever last year. I got second place. My son was excited. Like, Daddy, Pa, you got a medal. Like, cool. So now my son's been bugging for the past 2 months now that he wants to do jiu-jitsu. And I've been doing jiu-jitsu with him like on the carpet everywhere. And he's excited. He's 5 though. But
Yeah,
the thing is, he's excited. I know he wants to learn, but I explained to my wife, if he starts at an early age, like let's say this year, next year, 5 or 6, and he continues doing this, he's gonna kill me within 4 years because it's gonna be such a good experience for him to have like at such a young age. Whereas a lot of people have been coming, they always say this: "Oh, I wish I could have started jujitsu, years ago." Well, a lot of the new kids, the new boomers, are gonna have this opportunity now because it's so available to everyone now. Where it's like it's amazing.
yeah, no, like we're starting to see like not just kids class. We're gonna start seeing like advanced kids class, and then like
jeez.
separate class for kids. That it's not just gonna be the one together. It's gonna be like age groups separated, and then you're gonna have like beginners kids and then advanced kids. So that's gonna be like even better for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm excited for my son. I know he wants to do it. I'm just
And
scared.
we have a 4 to 7 age group, and honestly, the goal is for them to have fun.
Oh, for sure. I just know he's like his attention span's not ready yet, and I don't want to like make any of the coaches go crazy on him because he can be quite the handful. So he's just
Yeah,
developing a little more character, so he'll
sure.
be good enough to. Then I'll get my wife in and then get the whole family. And that's my master plan, Carl. I just want to get
the
everybody in.
the family outing. Just
Oh, what are you guys doing Thursday night? I know what I'm doing. Maybe start going to
everyone's going there.
yeah,
Everyone's
start doing
going.
geek. That's like my biggest goal right now is to get the whole family so we can start doing more
Hmm.
jujitsu. Because this way,
Yeah,
finish school, finish work. Okay, let's go jujitsu. Then we just make it part of your life, kind of thing. Ah, what a beautiful sport. But Carl, I've noticed, like we all noticed, that the gym was expanded, the
yeah,
mats.
yeah.
Do you foresee? My question to you is: do you foresee in the near future that we are going to run out of mat space, or like, do you think there'll be an opportunity where you have to like move because like jujitsu is becoming so big right now?
I mean, that's the goal. That's the
Mm-hmm.
goal, like to keep growing. But it's also not just about growth. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
about numbers. It's about like offering a high quality program.
Mm-hmm.
And jiu-jitsu is tough when you start. Like
Yep.
the goal is to also offer like easier time for people to start by having like introduction class, beginners
Mm-hmm.
programs,
Yes.
so that the goal is always to get better faster. Because like once you get over the beginning where you suck and then you start getting a bit good, then
Mm-hmm.
it gets really fun. So
Yeah.
the first few months where you just get beat up by everyone and you don't know what's happening and you don't really know what you're doing, and if you're not like highly motivated, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to keep going. So a lot of people quit at first, and like everyone jokes around that like, oh, white belts quit or blue belt quits, and
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes that's because the program it's not beginner friendly. It's like um, you have to be really tough or really want to keep doing it, which it's true because the sport's not easy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be tough on your ego, but there are things that you can do to make it more accessible, like explaining the rules better, explaining the positions, explaining the goals, going away from just teaching techniques and teaching skills or mindset or tactics that a beginner can grasp that might help them appreciate the sport faster, and then they just like it more, so then they're gonna get better anyways. So the goal is always to get people better faster, so one, you're better at jiu-jitsu and then you also enjoy it more.
Yeah, for sure. I think I finally met that stage where I'm having just a little bit of fun. I'm in the middle, ass kick
Yeah,
and having fun and win lose, whatever, I take it. But it's funny because it is a hard sport and it's not for everyone. That's something like I accept too. Like sometimes I just see random walk-ins and you get that feeling where they've watched UFC or whatever and they just go super hard and they get super
yeah,
demolished and I can put my hand on fire. They're not coming back the next day, and they usually don't because egos are you leave them at the door kind of thing with jiu-jitsu. It's true. I actually felt that, and now like as a gym owner and you're an athlete too, I always ask this question, and for me, my top question is, what could annoy you the most at a gym? For me, it's always the fingernails. it could be as a coach or as an athlete. What kind of pisses you off the most? I kind of know the answers, but I just want to hear you say it.
I mean, there's all the common things, like you said, the fingernails. The
Yeah.
the thing that bugs me the most, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not even at the gym, it's at tournaments. It's
Okay.
people walking barefoot.
Just wild word.
Like
Yeah.
walking barefoot in general in the gym,
Yeah.
no, like you
Yeah.
don't do it, especially not at ours because it's not like entrance and then mats. It's like boxing session, and then right now it's winter, so in the boxing section there's like whatever dirtiness from the snow that gets so walking barefoot doesn't
Yeah.
make sense, and people like just don't really think about it because some places like oh you get in the gym and you change and it's only the mat, so it's not a big deal, but like so don't walk barefoot. But the crazy thing to me is that tournaments, like
Hmm.
you're gonna be like a school's gym, and then there's 800 people, and you're going barefoot to the bathroom that like 800 people are gonna have used in that day. That's crazy to me.
It's a
Like
big disease soup of people.
it's
It's
yeah, it's not
disgusting.
my job to tell them, but like I wish sometimes I kind of just
What's up, everyone? BJJ Tech Nerd here. Special shout out to the boys at X Marshall who provide me such amazing jiu-jitsu gear that lasts. I have gear that's over 2 years old and still fantastic. And to the good folks at Higher Healths Canada and USA who make amazing grass-fed beef liver, all that good stuff right here in Canada and the good old USA. Local farming, this is my vitamin. If you think about buying any rash guards or products from Higher Healths Canada, use my special code right here, BJJ Tech Nerd. That's BJJ Tech Nerd. Works on both sites.
really like dude, put
Just tell them with your
something,
face, Carl.
yeah, put something on. Like right now, though, I do work as a referee for the federation.
Yes.
So whenever I see someone barefoot outside, I can be like, "Oh, well, it's my job to tell them." So
There
I
you
just
go.
like, "Hey, just put something on your feet, just because then
Yeah,
you're gonna have your feet on someone's face in 2 minutes on the mats."
exactly.
So please, please,
For sure. In the beginning, well, now even now, I always have to explain to my wife when I come home or the next morning. She's like, "What happened to your face? What happened to your neck?" I'm like, "Listen, I got into a bar fight after the gym, and it's like I'm throwing out excuses because like I know you said it constantly, you say it often, like every couple of
yeah,
weeks, say, guys, cut your nails, cut your nails, cut your. It's just I don't know. I'll get used to it eventually. I'll just wear thick skin. I don't know.
yeah. And then like, I mean, I do think for the most part we have a pretty clean gym. It's
Mm-hmm.
always like new people that come in, but
Yeah,
we just have to educate them a little bit because a lot of people don't really care about their nails most of the time in life because you don't have to, or like it's not a big deal. But for us,
yeah,
it's important to like keep short, not only for like health concern, but also
yeah,
for your own nails. You're just gonna break them all the time if you keep
yeah,
them
for sure. Because
even
I remember
slightly long.
the biggest thing that ever happened to me because everyone hears it like, yo, you got ringworm and all this stuff. Someone scratched me on the neck once, and the next day at the shave, so I shaved myself. The after that, I went to a class, and someone sweated on me or re-scratched there, and I don't know what happened. It just mutated to staph, and it was all
Yeah.
over my neck, and I couldn't move. I missed jiu-jitsu like for 2.5 weeks because I just couldn't move. It was just like constantly. It was disgusting, people. So take off your shoes, goddamn. Put your shoes on and
Clip your nails. Take a
cut the
shower.
nails. But Carl, as now also an athlete, how often do you compete in a year? You on average, let's say.
Um, there's gonna be times that like it varies because
Mm-hmm.
it depends with the gym. But now the gym's in a really good place where I can have all the people take over.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I had something like 37 matches, which yeah, not tournaments but
Yeah.
like matches. So I could look up the amount of competition, but probably like anywhere between 6 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 12. It depends on the schedule.
Yeah.
Depends on if we have a lot of people going to tournaments.
Yeah.
That helps because, like, let's say we're going out of town and then we're splitting the gas, the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever by four, then you can make a lot more tournaments that way. It depends on the goals of the tournaments also, and then how they line up with the schedule. Because like if
Okay.
you're doing like a major tournament, you don't really want to have a lot of competitions a few weeks before. Also because I've been competing for 15 years.
Hmm.
So it's always a risk of getting injured. So I have to put some priority on doing bigger tournaments.
Yeah.
I'm at a point where doing the smaller ones, it's not that it's not worth it. There's a lot of
Hmm.
good people. I'm
Hmm.
trying to get bigger titles, so it makes sense to do a more quality approach of tournaments, like picking a bit
Hmm.
bigger tournaments than doing the smaller ones.
Oh, see, that was my next question. So you're basically, would you focus more now, like moving forward, like more focused tournaments, like stuff like IBJFF or ADCC, stuff like that, or you still once in a while would do like local tournaments, like wherever, Montreal, Ottawa, kind of thing?
I mean, I might do a local tournament if I feel like I want to get some competition experience or just not go too long without competing.
Hmm.
But the way it
Okay.
works for FGGF is, let's say you're ranked throughout the year. So the more events that you do with them, the higher your ranking. So when you do major tournament, your seeding is higher because they seed the major tournaments. So you, let's say you do 10 tournaments in that year, you win a lot, and you ranked number three in your bracket.
Hmm.
Then when you go to the worlds, you're ranked number three. You don't go against the number one, where so you have more chance of progressing throughout the tournament. So they do encourage you to do more of their tournament, which is just good business. But that's why I might focus more on IDGF this year because I'm
Hmm.
trying to. Um, it's my first year going to be Master 2 because I'm 35 now. So I'm trying to do a lot more of those just to get higher on those rankings of IBJF.
All right. And out of curiosity, was ADCC ever something that you thought about doing too? Because like,
I mean, the thing is with ADCC is that it wasn't really accessible until even just a few years ago.
yeah,
Like before, like they were just inviting where they wanted to ADCC. There weren't even trials. Like you had to be a big name and then you got invited.
yeah,
So now they're doing trials. Now they're doing like the opens. The
yes,
opens, ADCC Open is brand new. It's been like 1 year. So that's why like I'm seeing all those things. I'm thinking we're just getting started in jiu-jitsu. Like it's not even close to being like the highest level of professionalism that you're gonna get. ADCC, the way I see it though, is like a pro league, a pro event. You could do the opens,
yeah.
but what's the end goal? Like, let's say I do one ADCC Open and I win. Unless I'm trying to get to the trials or to actually qualify, like I'm not seeing that there's no point to it
Hmm.
because I'm not trying to get to that level. Because honestly, I'm not 24 anymore.
Hmm.
I'm 35. I do have a gym to run. And ADCC is more for the professional athletes, not necessarily school owners or teachers. So coaching and competing at the same time is it takes a lot of balancing to figure out the training because when you train for competition you have to focus on yourself. When you coach you have to focus on others.
Hmm.
So it's very time consuming to do both at the same time and it's tough to perform also. Like you look at all the pro athletes right now, even in the gi, not just ADCC, but all the guys that do this full time, they don't really teach. All they do is train
Hmm.
because that they have to at that level. They have to.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I want to mention about you. Like you're wearing like two or actually three hats because you're an athlete, you're still competing, you're a coach, but you're also a gym owner as well. So
Yeah.
it's hard to make that like that balance all the time, which is kind of amazing because you're one of the reasons why I even started to compete because I'm like every time I see you compete and you win a medal and stuff, I'm like, God damn it, Carl, you did it again. And I don't get mad. I'm like, God, no, I want some of that. So indirectly, it's cool that you do that because you do inspire your students to like compete more. And
I
for
mean, it's one thing to say a message. It's another thing to lead the way
Mhm.
and show it. And also because I enjoy it. I don't like as much as I might say I want. I do this to inspire you guys. It's a byproduct.
Mhm.
I do competitions first because I really enjoy it and it pushes me to get better. because if I keep winning, I need to get better, both physically, mentally, and tactically, and in terms of jiu-jitsu. I need to evolve. I need to get better. If I lose a match because of techniques or whatever the reason is, I need to get better. So that makes me better, and that's the selfish reason. That's because I enjoy it, because it makes me better. And then by that same process, though, even though that reason itself is selfish, it
Hmm.
does help me be a better coach. It does help me help you guys be better. And if it inspires you along the way, then for sure I'm happy it does that.
Oh, for
But
sure.
yeah,
And
that's not my main reason, honestly.
and I actually agree with your answer because when I did my first, I wanted to prove something to myself,
Yeah,
just to say I could do this. Like I can't chicken out. Like I got balls to start boxing, then jiu-jitsu. I'm like, okay, now I have to do a competition just to say at least I did it one time. But I get it now because even though I got second place, I wasn't happy with my performance. And everyone's telling me, "Why are you crazy? You got a medal." Like, who cares about the medal?
hmm,
I did not do well. I saw what I failed in. My wife was happy. I'm like, okay, thank you, but I want more now. I want to challenge. I want to re-challenge myself. And I already booked one tournament, and I'm just looking at. You sent an email the other day, last week, I think, for all the tournaments in like Quebec,
yeah,
and I was just like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I'm just fueled now to do more because I want to keep on pushing myself to do more because I get that feeling now. It is a little bit selfishness in the way. Like I want to do well because now my wife sees that and my son sees that too,
yeah,
and indirectly they want to get involved somehow. My wife wants to come to every tournament I go to now, and my son is
hmm,
talking about jujitsu.
yeah.
So
But I mean, like we're talking about jiu-jitsu, but that could be in any aspect of your life.
mhm.
Like if it was like playing music and you're like, well, I want to get better. I want to do something and really work at it and get better. Like that work ethic, that setting goals, that achieving things, it's going to inspire other people to do the same for their own thing. So it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. Like
Yeah.
for us, that's what we enjoy. But at the end of the day, it's about growing. It's about learning new things. It's about getting better as a person. And then like jiu-jitsu, the the one thing is that it covers a lot of um, how we are. We have to be healthy physically,
Hmm.
mentally. You have to eat right if you want to train right.
Hmm.
Like if you want to be able to have a good training session, you're gonna eat right the whole day and then probably the next day to recover. So by that process of wanting to be better in competition, it can transgress to other areas of your life to get better overall. So that's why like I see it really as a positive thing and something I don't see myself really stopping.
Hmm.
I might do less tournaments and maybe over the years, maybe just do a few. But I'm hoping to keep this going as long as I physically can, for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'll see you stopping either. But to go back on what you said, how it's also in other aspects of life too. It's true because I actually had a conversation with my wife a couple days before my tournament. And she just looked at me. She's like, "Why the hell are you even doing this if you're like a little bit stressed out and this and that?" And I told her, like, what kind of example would I be to you guys if I just like signed up and I quit, kind of thing? Like, and everything's hard in life. Like, it's hard. So win or lose, I don't care. I have to do this. I want to prove to you guys, like, and set a good example, at least for my son, to say, you know what, he can do anything he wants. Like I never thought I can do jiu-jitsu. Ever since I hurt my back, I'm
Yeah.
like, I can never be this flexible again. And I never, Carl, I never had a problem with my back ever since I started jiu-jitsu. I
Hmm.
have problems with my neck, my wrist, my neck, whatever. That's normal. But my back, never. It's like stronger than
Yeah.
ever now. So I indirectly telling my son or my wife, like, listen, if you want to do something, just fucking do it. Don't be scared, kind of thing. I think that's good. It's true, like, not just in jiu-jitsu, but all in life. These tournaments, they get you. They get you good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like you're gonna have stress at work because you have like a project due, and then you're able to like set a goal and push past it. It's gonna transpire you to like to other events in your life where even your son, he's gonna go to school. He's gonna have presentations to do at school. He's gonna have things that are stressing him out. But if he's able to like prepare and then go through it and then get better, and then whatever happens, you get better from that event afterwards. It's gonna be like it's good life lessons in general.
For sure. For sure. For sure. And Carl, I want to ask you, since You're still competing. Like you don't picture yourself stopping in jiu-jitsu at all. But let's say, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with yourself or Jim Ledecan? What is the vision?
Um, I mean, the goal, like we just expanded the mats.
Hmm.
In 5 years, I'm hoping we're somewhere else. I'm hoping we're in a bigger place, and I'm hoping we just keep making an impact on in people's life and bringing something that they enjoy. That's the goal.
That's awesome. We do expand. I told you this once. One of my biggest goals in jiu-jitsu is actually to become a teacher one day.
I mean,
A good
like,
teacher, not now. Now I suck ass, but like one day.
but when I started, like being a teacher, being a school owner, it wasn't even something I thought was possible. And then, like, I have a lot of people that start teaching with me that didn't really think it would be possible. And like, teaching doesn't really require you to be like an exceptional athlete or to have started at 4 years old. You have to care. You have to care about people, and you have to be able to relate the information to them that they can understand it and then apply it. And then that's pretty much all it takes. Like, skill does not equate to being a good teacher.
Hmm.
For
For sure. And out of all this, let's say all the tournaments you've done with the gym, what would be like the greatest accomplishment out of all of this right now for you?
I mean, obviously, like just having the gym in itself, I see it as a big win. In terms of tournaments, like there's a few. Like the first time I did the FGF Worlds gi, I was a blue belt,
Hmm.
and I remember going to the pyramid out there. It's a crazy building because on the outside, all you see is a big blue triangle, and you go in and then you go down to fight. So it's almost like a Coliseum event where like all the stands are around and you're at the bottom.
Shit.
And that year, I won 4 matches and I took third place, and that was my first big tournament. Like I was doing smaller ones around here or like New York, but that was a big one. I went away. I was 21 at the time, and that was the first time I realized like, oh shit, like I'm here. Like I remember in my second match or third match, it wasn't going super well. I was on my back. I looked at the ceiling and like the super bright lights, and I was like, holy shit, I'm here and doing this. Let's go. So that was a big event, and the last one, the JJF Worlds in Mongolia, was cool too. It was a huge event, and like it sounds stupid, but they played the Canadian national anthem
Okay.
when they hand out the medals, and I was like, I know this it's nowhere near like the Olympics or something like that, but it's cool to be like a at a national tournament that was
Yeah.
based on like countries, not just like I'm here for myself.
That's freaking cool. Yeah. That's amazing. I
Yeah,
remember one of your pictures where you're having, like, I don't know if it was the one that you just described, but we have, you won like four golds. You're like,
yeah.
today was like a quad day. I'm like, Jesus, that's like G unit, like four? Damn.
Yeah, the four medals tournament and like either tournaments or weekends. There's
Hmm.
a tough weekends because you're
Jeez.
either fighting four divisions in one day or you're doing two on Saturday and two on Sunday.
Well, you had a big smile on that picture, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But and I just want to go back in time a little bit. I know, like, I want to talk about like mental health with jujitsu and going back to like the COVID times where that was a big stress on many businesses, and
yeah.
I know the gym as well. I know I was super sad. I was depressed as soon as the gym closed for that time. We had no choice. But during COVID, was it a little bit hard on the gym when it closed? Or
It was hard because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how to handle it. We didn't know. No one that I know had ever been through something like this.
yeah,
So it was tough. But like the first one was weird because everyone was closed. Like you would see someone outside and be like, oh, is he allowed to be outside? Like
yeah,
I remember the first one, it was like 3 months or 4 months or something. And then it was so strange, like such a weird time. And then we reopened,
yeah.
and then Like I wasn't convinced that it was done, that we were gonna be like living back to normal. So I kind of prepared for it, and then we
Mm-hmm.
got shut down again for 8 months. So then I was like, okay, well that's gonna be like an adjustment. And then I was we reopened again, and I was kind of like we closed again for a month the year afterwards. So like, well, maybe it's just gonna be like a every winter thing for some time. But so I just kept preparing to like stop, start, and recover. But because uh, one, we've been open for 5 years when we first shut down. It allowed us to reopen with
Yeah.
like a base of member. I feel bad for all the gyms that were just opening or had
Mm-hmm.
been open for not as long because like when we reopened, we lost about 50% memberships. Not that people left, it's just some were not ready to come back. So some were going to wait. Some did leave, but that's part of the business. But like we reopened at 50%, and then it took us like 4 months to get back to whatever number we were before. So it wasn't like stop and start and we reopen exactly at the same point. It's like a slow train that we have to start, and then it gets in motion and it takes time. So that's what that was really damaging for the business itself. But mentally is also because like most of my identity came from being a jiu-jitsu athlete and coach. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah. Now you're here. We made it, man. You made it through the
Yeah,
storm.
made it through.
It was a scary time because I remember it was like always. It was like it was open, it was closed, was open, it was closed, and all these laws going back in, mask out. You could
Yeah,
not wear a
like
mask with a condition. I had my,
we're
I was boxing with a mask on, and I think John's like, "Why are you boxing with a mask on?" I'm like, "I don't know, isn't it the law or something?" Like, it was just such weird times.
yeah, I mean, everyone was trying to do whatever they thought was right. And I mean, we can look back and criticize whatever the approach they're going on, but I mean, there was no guideline for this. There was no like, we've done this every year. They were just trying to figure it out.
Oh,
And some places did it different. Some place would argue it worked out better for them. And, I mean, it's just what it is. Don't control it. Can't change it. So
well,
we made
I'll
it
give you
through.
my 2 cents on COVID, Carl. I never believed in any of that shit. Because you want to know why? Because when we were rolling jiu-jitsu, like people are sweating on me. Like sometimes there's sweat goes in my mouth. I was never sick. I was you know what I was scared of? When I bring my son to daycare, because daycare creates the most craziest bacteria and they get us sick. So I was never into this COVID crap since the beginning. It was a sham.
You know what? Like I used to never get sick from like 20 to 28. I would never get sick.
Mm.
As soon as I started teaching kids class, I'm getting sick all the time. I'm getting like
You see?
colds every year. They cough in your face as you tie your belt, their belt. Yeah, kids class, that's the worst.
There you
That's
go, guys. So you guys listening in, we have two independent studies, one from my house and one from Coach's Carl kids class. It's that it wasn't COVID all along. It was the fucking kids.
it
That's what
was
it
just
was.
kids classes. Kids
It's
classes
just kids coughing all the time, and it went to the ozone layer, and I don't know, multiplied. And I'm just glad it's over. Well, that's over, but there's other shit happening in the world. But mind you,
yes, yes.
all is well. We're here. The gym's open. Jiu-jitsu is expanding. And Carl, before I end, I want to ask you if there was somebody thinking about Thai, boxing, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, and they want to try Le Cal or just try something new, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say like don't be afraid to try something new and be the new person in the room because especially like I remember how I felt when I went in there. I thought I was gonna kill. I thought everyone was gonna be
Yeah.
savages and murder me and like it was gonna be rude and it was me like the element fire. It was the complete opposite. So a lot of people that they say when they want to start, they're waiting either for the perfect condition to be more in shape or, it's scary to come into like an MMA place and do martial arts or wherever the school is. It could be boxing, it could be anything. Like it's scary to go do something new, and we're all scared of being bad at things, but
Yeah.
it's normal to be bad at something that's just starting. Like if you were great the first time you tried it, then that would not be fun.
Yeah.
Like if you played a video game and you won every time and there was no challenge in it, it would be boring. You would not play it a lot. So the difficulty is going to come from trying and being bad at it. But the good news is that everyone was bad at jiu-jitsu when they started, because um, whatever habits you might have from different sport, they're probably wrong in jiu-jitsu. So don't be afraid to try something new, but also like don't be afraid to try multiple places. Gyms have very different vibes from one to another. Not
Mhm.
all programs are the same. I'm not saying one is bad, one is better. It's some people are looking for different things. Some people want structure, some people want to be free. Some people want a hard coach, some people want something that's nicer. Some people like structured class, some people don't. Some people like gi, some people like no gi. So it's not because you tried one school in the past and maybe you didn't like it that they're all gonna be the same. So pick whatever vibe you like and do something you enjoy at the end of the day.
It's a great message. And to reflect on your answer, to try something new, and remember that first time where you get scared. See, I don't get scared in nogi, win or lose. I love it. I go in, I'm happy. But if you tell me to put a gi on, Carl, I'm already panicking thinking about it.
But
My hands are already sweaty talking about the gi. So a
what
new goal of mine.
scares you about the gi?
What scares me, Carl? Well, rolling with you, you smother me. The last time I rolled with you, like you smothered me. You're just like, oh, like I just tapped. But I
But that
think
was
it's,
no gi.
maybe it was Nogi too. I think they both actually. I think they both. But there, I think it's because there's so many more options in the gi, and me just being, I don't want to be scared. That's my whole point. I don't want to be scared. I don't want this feeling me being scared of the gi. I want to, get off that. I want to be. I want to do the gi too now. So that's my thing. I'm gonna come back eventually to gi, and I'm gonna have
But
fun
like you're
regardless.
building that image of the gi in your head of
Yeah,
it being so scary,
yeah,
and then it's such a big thing to overcome. When in reality, you just need to get adjusted from going
yeah,
from wrist grips to
yeah.
sleeve grips.
Exactly.
That's pretty much all it is. Instead of collar ties, you take collar grips.
That's
So
all it is, Carl.
grabbing the ankle, you can grab the pants, and like there's a lot of options in nogi also, from different grips, different setups. Like yes, there's more things in the gi, but I see it as just a different style. Like
Yeah,
nogi is more forgiving for mistakes because you can slip out a little bit more.
yeah.
But then that also means the opponent can slip out from your good things.
Hmm.
Whereas in the gi, you're gonna get stuck a bit more, especially at first. But then whenever you get good at it, people are gonna get stuck a lot more at you
Yeah.
with your grips. So it's a different challenge. But I've personally always been doing both. I
Hmm.
never did like just gi or just no gi, and that's probably why I had success. I see one of the big reasons where I had success both in the gi and no gi is because I did both, because the no gi helps my gi and vice versa.
Hmm. That's on my bucket list for sure, Carl. It's the get back into the gi. And my long goal is one day compete. Wait for this, compete and do gi and no gi events.
Two in the same day.
I'm getting goosebumps just saying it. Gi and no gi. Well, Carl, I want to say thank you very much for hopping on my podcast.
And thank you for having me. I know we've been trying to set this up for a while. Just had a bit of issues with tournaments,
You're
dates,
you
and
were busy winning medals, Carl. It's okay. I
just
got
busy,
it.
just busy.
But
Thank you so much.
I'll see you next Monday on
All right,
class.
I'll
Have
see you
fun
Monday.
destroying me. And
Thank you to
guys,
everyone. Thank you guys.
guys, go do jiu-jitsu. Gi or no gi, just do it. Later, nerds. Have a good one. Os.